Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today is a very exciting video because I'm going to give a recap and a rating of the 4 books that I read in November. So this was kind of a lower reading month for me. Normally I've read usually more like 5 or 6 I feel like in a month, but just with school kind of wrapping up I got a lot busier, so I just didn't have as much time to read as I would have liked, but I am hoping for big numbers in December. And stay tuned for my next video, which will be me talking about all the books that I want to read in December, or the books that I hope to finish in December. So, starting off the month of November, I read Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. If you don't know, this is his biography, his autobiography, and I read this because of his passing right at the end of October, beginning of November time, and so I really just wanted to read this book because I had actually purchased it before he passed away, and I just never got around to reading it just because, I don't know, I always just kind of made an excuse to read a fiction book instead, but I'm really glad I read it. It's obviously a very tough book to read. It's a very sad book to read, and if you are going to read it, I recommend you look up, or if you don't know his life story already, look up kind of what the book's about, because there are some very tough topics discussed in it, so it might not be for everybody. Um, and normally I rate my books on like a scale of 1 to 5 stars, but obviously this is his life. I'm not gonna rate the book. I do recommend reading it. It's a very beautiful book, as heartbreaking as it is. But yeah, that's the first book that I started off the month with. So the next book that I read in November is called The Obsession, and I don't have the physical book for it because I borrowed it to a friend, but I will put a picture of the cover. So this is a young adult thriller, not really a mystery, just a thriller, and it follows Logan and Delilah. So Logan believes that he and Delilah are meant to be together and that they are going to have this perfect love story, but Delilah doesn't know who Logan is. Logan is a stalker who is obsessed with Delilah, and basically the book just follows that relationship, if you want to call it a relationship. So yeah, it follows that. It is a creepy book. It's a little disturbing, but I could not put it down. I think I finished it in like 2 sittings, which I rarely really do that with a book. Normally it takes me a little bit longer, but it's a very short read. Doesn't take too long. I really recommend it, especially if you're into books like that that are kind of creepy and a little unsettling. So I would give that book 4 out of 5 stars, just because, I don't know, a 5-star book is like, I want to read it again. And I would say that it's hard for a thriller or a mystery to be 5 stars because you know what happens, and so you don't have that suspenseful kind of factor playing into it. But I do give it 4 stars, so I recommend that you read this book, give it a try, because I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read in November was anything but a short book. I read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and if you've watched my last YouTube video where I did a day in the life, I was reading this book, and I'm happy to say I finally finished it. It just took me a while because it is 500 pages. So keep that in mind when you're about to read it. It will take a while. Um, so if you don't know the story of the Hunger Games, then I recommend that you read the first 3 Hunger Games books as well. This is a prequel that follows it follows President Snow before he became President Snow, and it follows him in his younger years as like a teenager to university student age, and it just follows him being actually a mentor in the games. So yeah, if you like the Hunger Games books, if you like the original books or the original movies, I recommend reading this book because it really just adds to the whole story. And I'm excited to see this movie. I haven't seen it yet. I've been waiting for school to get done. So now that I'm almost out of school, hopefully I will get to watch the movie soon because it looks amazing, and from what I've heard people say about it, it's an amazing film. So I give this book 5 out of 5 stars, which I do not do that often, but I loved it. It took a little bit to get into, but once I was probably like a quarter of the way through, I was reading it very fast because you just get so invested in the world, especially if you've read the other 3 Hunger Games books and seen the movie. I'm invested in the world of the Hunger Games. So I recommend that you go read this, read the other books if you haven't, watch the other movies if you haven't, and then watch this movie that just came out. The fourth and final book that I read in November is called The Haunting by Natasha Preston. I really recommend this book. I recommend all of her books because they're all like a mystery thriller kind of book, and I love them because they're so fast paced. So this one follows Penny, who just recently broke up with her boyfriend Nash because Nash's father was arrested for the murder of 5 of his classmates. So 5 high school students were murdered by Nash's father. So we fast forward a little bit to a year after Nash's father was arrested for all those crimes, and then another high school student is found dead. And now there is a copycat on the loose who is copying Nash's father's crimes. And, everyone in the town is quick to assume that Nash is at fault because just of what his dad did. But Penny is trying her best to defend Nash and is trying to kind of reconnect with him and is just doing everything she can to help him out. And also she's trying to kind of solve the case on her own in order to prove that he did not do it. So really it just follows that story. It is so fast paced. It's only about 300 pages. So I would give this book 3.5 stars because I liked it. I would recommend reading it. It wasn't my favorite book of hers, and I mean, I don't think her books could ever be 5 stars just because they do have very simple, like, storylines, and that is what I like about them because you can read this book very, very quickly. So I recommend checking out this book or checking out any of her books if you're in a reading slump or if you just need like a quick read because all of her books are short, they're very fast paced, and yeah, if you like the mystery thriller vibe, then I recommend checking her out because she has a lot of books, and although I didn't love this one, I do love some of her other books more than this, and I think that she is a great writer, and I mean, I buy every book she writes because whenever I'm just in a reading slump, I always pick up one of her books. So that is it for my November reading wrap up. I hope that you guys check out some of these books. I will put all the books in the description with my ratings just so you have it there as well. And yeah, stay tuned for my next video where I'm going to do my December TBR and figure out all the books that I want to read in December. My last class is coming up, so I am almost done with school. So I will have pretty much the entire month of December to just read, which I am so excited for. I definitely am ready for a break from school, and I also just want to see how many books I can get done during that time. So thank you all for watching this. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to see more videos talking about, my reading life and my college life.